Yeah, so hello everyone. Welcome to another interesting session of the Astro Club. So I think today two new students have joined. So for all of them, welcome to Astro Club. So the topic that we are going to discuss today may be new to you, but just try to understand today's session so that you can get some idea.
Okay, ma'am.
So let's begin. So in the previous session, what we've discussed is like we've started about the rover design. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we started the concept of rover designing. That is part one. So today we're going to discuss about the control mechanisms of rovers, which is part two. But before that, let's once revise what we've discussed in the previous session. So as you can see here in the slide, this is the picture of a rover. So what is a rover? A rover is a vehicle or a device for exploring the surface of a planet or a moon. So it's simply like a vehicle which is used for exploration. And rovers are of two types, we know, right? What is it? Autonomous rovers and human-powered rovers. So what are autonomous rovers? Autonomous rovers are the
Ma'am,
rovers
which they
which move by themselves.
automatically.
Yeah, which move automatically by themselves. Human-powered rovers means humans have
They
to
should
operate
control.
them. Yeah, we need to control. So there are two types of rovers, that is autonomous and human power. And I've already mentioned in the previous session. So NASA is planning to send the first human powered rover onto the surface of moon. So can anyone name that mission?
Artemis.
Yeah, it's Artemis mission.
Artemis.
Yeah. So that is a human powered rover. It's not an autonomous rover. It's a human powered rover where two astronauts will be driving that rover. So we're going to discuss about such type of human powered rovers. Like we will discuss about all the parts of rover and all that. We've already did it in the previous session. So today we are discussing about the control mechanisms of rover. See, so last class we have discussed all of these things. So just you can revise. So in the basic structure, we have completed frame, suspension system, and the wheels, right? So today we are going to talk about the braking system and the steering system. So just have a glance at this slide so that you can recollect what we learned in the previous session. So this is the frame or the chassis. We talked about the suspension system and the different types. And then we also talked about the wheels. Again, we also watched a video on that. Am I clear till here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Akka.
Yeah. So moving on to this topic is the braking system, first of all, which comes under the control mechanism. So the braking system. So the brakes or the braking mechanism is equally important as propulsion. So first of all, you should know what propulsion means. Propulsion means the action of pushing or driving a vehicle forward. Like when you're driving a vehicle forward, it's called as propulsion. So we know that driving a vehicle is very important. Braking is also equally important as driving a vehicle. If you don't have brakes, what happens? Just think. You can't stop a vehicle anywhere
And we can
prone
get
to
the
accidents,
accident
right?
also.
Yeah. So braking system is equally as important as the driving system. So the rover needs to brake well to be able to maneuver the terrain and obstacles present in space. So in the surface, in the space, on the surface of Mars and on the surface of Moon, we have rocky terrains, right? We have a lot of stones and we have a lot of sand and all of that. If the rover wants to travel in such a terrain, then it should have proper braking systems. Otherwise, the rover won't balance well. Okay, so a good braking system will increase the it will increase the way, increase the safety when the rover is turning around the turns or curves, as well as it will protect the driver and the vehicle also. during sharp turns on the roads also we see on the highways or during the sharp turns, braking system is very important. Otherwise, what happens? The vehicle will skid. Am I right? The vehicle will skid if you
Yes,
don't have
sir.
proper
Yes.
braking
Yes,
systems.
ma'am.
Yeah, so that is the reason why braking is equally as important as propulsion. So as you can see here, we have different types of braking systems. This is the stagecoach brakes. This is the rim pad brakes. These are the disc brakes. Then this is the pad brakes and this is the reverse gear brakes. Okay. So I'm going to explain about each and every braking system. So just listen carefully. So coming to the stagecoach brakes. So this is the first braking system that was like invented. In this system, a large lever is used to actuate the brakes. You know, this was like an old model of brakes which was developed earlier. You know,
Yes, sir.
Tongas, right? Tongas in olden days we used to have Tongas. You have idea of Tongas? In olden days we used to have
Yes, ma'am.
Tongas, right? Yeah. So in those Tongas, people used to use these stagecoach brakes. So these were the first brakes that were developed. So it has a lever system. It has a lever system which is used to actuate the brakes. So then we have the rim pad brakes. This is rim pad brakes. So this design consists of two brake shoes. So these are the two brake shoes, the first one and second one. Two brake shoes that rest on the inside and outside of the rim of the wheel. So if you consider a rim of the wheel, so these both brakes, they rest outside and inside the rim of the wheel. These are called as rim pad brakes. Next, we have disc brakes. So disc brakes, so these brakes provide the most stopping power. So what is the main goal of brakes? It should have
To
stopping
stop
power
the rover.
to stop the rover. So these disc brakes have the most stopping power and they are very common on bicycles. Bicycles, we usually find this type of disc brakes. And we have other type of brakes called as drum brakes also. So drum brakes are very common and they can be found on most vehicles today and in the older vehicles also. So these are the different types of brakes. So in rovers, we can use either rim pad brakes or disc brakes. Okay, these are the most commonly used brakes in rovers. Okay, am I clear?
Yes, sir. Ka.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Next. Yeah. So if you can see here, in the controls, we have braking system and steering system. So far we have discussed the braking system. So now we are going to move into the steering system. So having good wheels and great brakes will not mean anything if the drivers cannot steer the vehicle. So just imagine if you have wheels, if you have brakes, but if you don't have steering, can you move the vehicle forward?
No.
No,
No.
Ka.
So each and every part is important. Brakes are important, steering is important, every part has its own importance. So steering is also equally important. So steering is essential in any vehicle, especially any space faring vehicles. So the vehicles which move in space, maybe they need the steering mechanism that most prominent. So the operators of the rover need to be able to precisely dictate where the vehicle goes while in motion. So when the rover is going on the terrain, we should be careful like in which way the rover is going. If you don't control the steering, the rover may go in anywhere. Okay, it may get crashed somewhere. So not to control the entire rover, steering mechanism is very important, not only for rover, but any vehicles. Without steering, you can't control the vehicle. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so steering is very important. So steering is the combination of propulsion and brakes are what makes a vehicle useful. So steering plus brakes is very important. Steering for motion and brakes for stopping the motion. So both are equally important. However, if the steering is lacking, then the drivers can't reach their destination. It's Easily understood, right? If you don't have a steering, you can't reach the destination. So coming to the steering of a rover, the design is paramount. Like before going to that, let's see these two types of steering. We usually have two types of steering mainly. The first one is a rack and pinion steering, and the second one is the underseat steering. Okay, so this rack and pinion steering, if you see, this looks like the steering of a bike or a bicycle. Am I right? We just hold it on either side and we control it. This one, this rack and pinion steering, we usually see it in bikes and bicycles. Did you get the point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And this is the underseat steering. So we'll discuss about this. So in rovers, like we have the design is paramount. Like drivers can sit side by side. See here in this picture, the drivers are sitting side by side, or they may sit one in front and one in behind. In this picture, see one of the drivers sitting in front and one is sitting behind.
They are paddling.
Yeah. So they may share the steering duties. Also, steering design should be aligned with the seating design. So according to the seating design, the steering design also gets changed. For example, the drivers who are seated low at a backward angle for better pushing power can't properly use upright steering. That force them to bend forward. So let me explain this. For example, if you take this case where the drivers are sitting one behind the other, they can't use the forward steering. I mean, they can't use the rack and pinion steering because bending forward and using that steering is difficult. So what they have the underseat steering. Means like beside the steering or under the seat, they have the steering. So they can easily reach out their hands and they can easily operate. But if you consider here, they can have the forward steering because they're seated in the same direction. They can have the rack and pinion steering because they're seated in the forward direction, so they can easily bend forward and they can use that steering. But in the above case, they can't use rack and pinion steering. They can use only underseat steering. Did you understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Akka.
Yeah. So if you can see here, these are some of the rovers made by students around the world. So each rover has its own design. For example, if you see here, both the seats are in the forward direction, and therefore they have the rack and pinion steering. If you see here, they are seated one behind the other. So they have what type of steering? Can anyone say? What type of steering do these have? Those who are sitting one behind the other. Do they have rack and pinion steering or do they have underseat steering?
Back and steering.
What? Can anyone say what type of steering these rovers have? Like in which they are seated one behind the other. Can anyone say? I've explained earlier, right? I've explained here. Always remember, those who are seated one behind the other, they have underseat steering. Those who are seated beside each other, they have rack and pinion steering. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Akka.
Now tell me what type of steering do these people have?
Underseat steering.
Underseat steering.
Yeah, underseat steering because they are seated one behind the other.
Down is
Here.
back and seat steering.
This one. Tell me what do these have?
Back and seat steering.
Back and seat steering.
Yeah, it is actually the rack and pinion steering.
Field luck.
Yeah. Okay, so this is about, so based on the different rover design, we have different type of steering mechanisms. That's fine. So now we have the basic idea of a rover and what are the different parts of rover. And we've also talked about the control mechanisms also. So now are you excited to make a cardboard rover?
Yes, sir.
You want to make
Yes,
a
ma'am.
cardboard rover? Yeah. So it's DIY time. DIY means do it yourself. So let's make a cardboard rover. So what you need to do is, let me tell you. So now I'm going to share few pictures in the group. All of you are there in the WhatsApp group, right? So you can make a cardboard. Yeah. So if you can see here, I've sent you two pictures with the complete information, like what are the materials you need, and step by step how you can make the rover, and also what is actually happening when you make the rover. So all of those things I've sent. You can have a look at the group. Okay, did you get that picture, everyone? The both pictures.
Yes, Akka.
Yes, sir.
So that is the complete information of how you can make a rover. I also have a video also. Okay, so I've shared that video in the group. So you can watch that video. If you're comfortable with watching the video, you can watch the video and make the rover, or you can either look at these slides which I've sent and make the rover. So your assignment is, like, your work is by next session, all of you should make a rover, like a cardboard rover, and you should present it in the session. Okay.
Okay, Akka.
Okay,
So
Akka.
everything is given there, like the complete materials and what is the procedure to make the rover. Everything is given, and you have the video also. Step by step, they have explained it in the video. So just collect all the materials and you can do it, and just show me in the next session. So what first, let's look at those slides. Once open those pictures which I've sent. So what you need? You need a cardboard, a ruler. Ruler means scale. Then you need scissors. Then you need one sharpened pencil and a straw. You need a tape, a paper clip, 2 to 3 rubber bands, plastic bins, that is optional. And then you should have some like sand and pebbles and all. Why do you think you need sand and pebbles? For the terrain, not to create the terrain for the rover to move. We have those sand and pebbles, okay? So here they gave
Okay.
step-by-step process. First step, you have like cut out the cardboard pieces, and they've explained it. What is the size of the cardboard piece? Like 15 by 15 length and width. So you can just read that and you can make it. The second step is making the rover body. Third step is creating the axle holes. Fourth step is attaching the wheels. Fifth step is creating the axle hook. The sixth step is attaching the rubber bands. Seventh step is making the rover move. That's it. So there's 7 steps in total in this rover. So you can just watch the video, or you can just go through these slides, and you can easily make the rover. So just try to make this cardboard rover and show it to me in the next session.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
Akka.
and also all the Astro Club session recordings are being uploaded in this YouTube channel. So I've sent the link in the chat box. So you all can just subscribe to that channel so that you can get to know when we upload a session recording. Okay, all the Astro Club session recordings are in that. If you miss any session, you can just watch those videos. I'll share this in the group also. I'll share the videos in the group also. So you can just go through that. Everyone is there in the WhatsApp group, right? If you're not there in the WhatsApp
Yes.
group, just message me so that I can add you to the group. So did you understand today's concept? We talked about control mechanism.
Yes, sir.
Control mechanisms of rovers. So now I want each and everyone to tell me at least like 2 points what you have learned in today's session. Just you can speak out. Feel free, just unmute and just tell any 1 point which you have learned.
People sitting side by side using under seat control system.
Yeah, okay. Next, what about others?
Akka, if two persons sit in a rover and paddling, it is called underseat rover, and
Seat
people who
steering
sit
mechanism.
normally is called
Yeah, normally it's called rack and pinion steering. Okay, it's called rack and pinion steering. Did you get it, Mahesh?
yes, Akka.
Yeah, okay.
Pattern pinion steering
Yeah,
rover.
yeah. What about others? Any 1 point that you've learned? Just unmute your mic and just tell any 1 point. Those who already said can again say, not an issue. Others also try to participate in the discussion. That's how you learn. This is a part 2 completely, the control mechanism. So just say me, what are the 2 control mechanisms of a rover? Tell the answer. What are the 2 control mechanisms? Am I audible?
Yes, Akka, you are audible.
Yeah. So just tell me, what are the 2 control mechanisms of a rover? Today we have discussed.
Steering and brakes.
Yeah, braking system and steering system are the 2 control mechanisms of a rover. So in this slide, you can observe. See,
Braking system and steering system.
yeah, see here, controls. What are the 2 controls? Braking system and steering system. Coming to the basic structure, we have frame, suspension system, wheels, and axles. Axles are nothing but like this rod which connects the both the wheels. This is the axle. So the main components are the basic structure, the power unit, the transmission system, controls, and outputs. So still we'll be discussing more about the rovers in the further sessions. This is about, and just try to make the cardboard rover and just present it in the session next week.
Okay, Akka.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's all for today. Let's meet next Sunday. You can leave.